There is no one way to be a man, and therefore you can just be yourself. Stray away from what people say you should do. I think it's a bit easier to live that way. Not even, I just think, do women care about what men read? And it's about how they decided to love themselves, their experiences. I've got two. I'll talk about this and Theron first. You're knowingly catfishing, I would say, but it's fine.
Henry Christian Jump.
And a new series came out for that one.
Wealthy or to prosper.
My name is John Paul. I'm a writer. I'm a bookworm. I create content where I talk about books on TikTok, and I also work in PR. First up, I have The Sex Style of African Women by Nana Dakar Sekamaya. This is a collection of experiences of African women around the world where they've spoken about their sexual experiences and how they've changed them. It's a liberating collection. Very much enjoyed it. This is the memoir of one of my favorite authors ever, Kweke Mezi. It's called This and Theron. It's about their life and how they have decided to just take everything by themselves and live by themselves and love themselves. It changed my life, really. Memorial by Brian Washington. This is about two men in a relationship. They decide that things aren't really going too well. One person's mother decided they want to move in. The other guy's gone to Japan. It's about how the relationship is in a really, really tired state. And I found it interesting because I love writing about fractured families and fractured relationships. I kind of model my writing after Brian Washington. Similar to Brian Washington, Brandon Taylor is one of my favorite authors. This is real life, and it's about a man named Wallace who is just tired of life. His father's just died. He is upset. He's depressed. His PhD is horrible. But again, it's about fractured relationships, fractured families, and I model my writing after his as well. It made me really sad. In a time of my life I was really happy. I think that's good writing. Last but not least is Allow Me to Introduce Myself by Oni Davanelli. Shout out to Oni, one of my good friends. Is about a mumfluencer and her daughter and her strange stepdaughter. Stepdaughter doesn't really want her mother to do the same thing that she did to her younger sister. So she decides to fight legally and get her sister into her own hands. It's all about family, it's all about friendships. The writing was beautiful, and I think that's important to me. There's a line in this book that talks about not caring much about what you think about yourself. And I think as a chronic overthinker, this allowed me just to let go of my own limitations and kind of surpass myself in a year where I quit my job and started a whole new career. This was quite important to me. The great thing about this book is that it taught me as a man how to consider people around me. We're not really taught about the experiences of women and how much being a woman affects them. This book just allowed me to consider people other than myself, but also just allowed me to become liberated, I guess. Heteronormativity isn't what everyone wants to subscribe to, so I think this book just gave me license to think beyond myself. Incidentally, all those books are Black authors, but I am trying to expand and read beyond that. So I'll be open to some translated fiction, French, Japanese, Chinese, Russian, anything that's great. Also memoirs, I love a good memoir. So if you have anything that's written by an interesting person, not shadow written, I don't want it that rubbish. Give me a good book. I could be open to reading that. I think the Mandem should read these books because stereotypically we're quite selfish. That's the way we're socialized to be. And I think all these books here do not center traditional male experiences. Most of these are queer, some of these are about women. And I feel like in order to exist in a world where there are people who aren't just men, we should read some books that are about people who aren't just men. If men were to read these suggestions, they would be kinder to themselves. It's a small thing, but I think they would understand that there is no one way to be a man, and therefore you can just be yourself. Stray away from what people say you should do. I think it's a bit easier to live that way. Men, I would challenge you to read this middle one, The Sex Style of African Women. I think that there is not an ounce of man in here, and if you can finish this book and not feel away, then you're a normal person. I think this is a great book, especially if you're attracted to women. I think you need to understand what goes on in the woman's brain when they're doing what they're doing, you know? I've been John Paul. You can catch me on at JPRead6 on TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, these are the books that I have.
Yo, Dad, which one we doing?